Hi guys and welcome back to You and Him, and today I'll be playing chapter 2. Okay, we're on to chapter 2. Saffron. I forgot what this guy's deal was. Rise Bar and Grill earlier. Yeah, I mean he was hired by the star, but why does he seem to hate us so much? Saffron taps his fingers along the edge of the steering wheel as he watches you disappear into the bar, your body illuminated by lightning as it pulses through the sky. Idly, he brings his thumb to his mouth and licks. He can still taste your blood from earlier today, fresh and sweet, like cotton candy. A sharp contrast to your guarded personality. He marvels at how much a person's taste can differ from how they present themselves to the world. Those who act soft and sweet often have a rancid aftertaste, or those who parade around with vibrant personalities often end up being bland in flavor. But you... He winces as his teeth accidentally tear through the skin, and he draws his thumb away from his mouth, studying the pearl of blood forming at his open wound. Ah, he got carried away again. He licks it away with a quick swipe of his tongue, trying to ignore the vomit-inducing taste. Enough of this longing. Soon he'll have vials of your blood to mix with his liquor. Okay, this guy's a weirdo in his own way. Plenty to drink and savor for years to come if he preserves them long enough. Not to mention the delicious meat he'll pair it with. He just needs to remain patient. Saffron busies himself by looking at his phone and going over Cake's schedule. He shuffled around a lot due to Adam's unforeseen injury, which leaves most of their week open. Perfect considering the amount of cleanup this will take. Adam informed him of your aunt being a probable casualty, but since she's such a recluse, it's unlikely anyone will notice her missing for quite some time. They can make a few payments here and bribes there in order to keep suspicion off of them. Still, it would have been so much easier had Adam done what he had set out to do earlier. Everything was planned accordingly, not a flaw in place. So what happened out there that allowed you to escape? Yesterday evening, Door Hotel. Saffron steps into the hotel's elevator and presses a button for the main floor, adjusting the cuffs of his button-down shirt as he waits for the doors to close. Damn. No matter how many times he gets his clothes tailored, they never seem to fit just quite right. It's not like he's had a growth spurt. He's far beyond his prepubescent years where changing height and lengthening limbs were a problem. No, it's another matter entirely. Saffron sighs and forces himself to stop fiddling with his attire, accepting defeat yet again when a young man with short cropped hair joins him. He smells faintly of lavender and honeysuckle. Yesterday was rosemary and mint. He glances at the man's hands, slight hints of dirt caked underneath his cuticles, nails cut to the quick. Saffron smiles as his finger hovers over the elevator buttons. Floor. The man offers up a quiet, subdued smile of his own, mouse-like in nature. Lobby, please. Same as me, then, he says and hits the button. That in itself is a lie. He has nowhere to go, at least not until he's to retrieve Adam and have disposed of the body. No, he's here for him. Cute and timid gardener boy who stares at the ground whenever he goes, even on his way to the little florist shop that he works at who walks down. Saffron bought a bouquet of meaningless daffodils in order to engage in even a slight conversation with the young man. And what he discovered underneath that demeanor, soft-spoken act was an inquisitive mind. One that Saffron was ravenous to get to know on a deeper level. Saffron turns towards the young man, about to engage in polite conversation, when his cell phone begins to ring, classical music flooding the small space. He smiles at the young man. Please, excuse me. The young man holds up his hands and Saffron catches the sight of a band-aid wrapped around his thumb. Oh no, you're fine, don't mind me. So considerate. Saffron has to dig his nails into his phone to keep his composure. Patience, Saffron, you'll scare him off. He's made that mistake many times before. Acting over-eager, asking them to dine with him only for them to stand him up, but he's learned and adapted, and soon he'll have this man on a silver platter. He'll make sure of it. Saffron answered the call with a firm, hello? There was heavy breathing on the other end, followed by a curse and grunt. Saffron frowns, worry zipping through him in an instant, but he forced himself to remain composed. Playing the part of a concerned parent would only serve to abrogate Adam. What happened? Adam hisses through his teeth and Saffron hears the sound of heavy footsteps. They got away. Saffron blanches until the words register. They what? Did he hear him right? But no one escaped Adam, no one. So how? Adam answers as if knowing exactly what's on Saffron's mind. They managed to catch me off guard before stabbing me with my own freaking knife. And they got in a car and sped off. Another grunt, then under his breath. We're going to kill them. Saffron rubs the bridge of his nose as the elevator dings and the door opens, signaling they've reached the lobby. The young blonde steps out with a moment's hesitation, and any chance Saffron had for inviting him out to dinner is now ruined. Good. They really hope today was the day. But until they take care of you, he'll need to take a rain check. Alright, coming to pick you up. Say where you are. Adam doesn't answer and instead hangs up. A moment later, Saffron gets a text for Adam's coordinates. He's about a mile off from where he dropped him off last. Saffron pockets his phone and locates the rental car before hopping in and setting off for Adam's location. He better be okay. Yesterday, abandoned highway. Saffron finds Adam crouched down near the side of the road, using his turtleneck to soak up the blood pouring from his wound. Same one you left behind. Saffron's hand flexes around the steering wheel as Adam hauls himself into the passenger side, wishing they were circling your neck instead, taking the life you tried to steal from Adam. How dare you touch him? How dare you leave him bleeding out? He almost ruined everything. You're lucky Adam didn't die, or you face a fate far worse than Adam could ever give you. Slow, tortuous, your body chained to his dissection table, squirming and flailing about, screaming your vocal cords raw in a massive symphony of emotion and terror, quelled only by your following. Saffron. Saffron snaps out of his fantasy with a stark clarity, startled by how visceral his own emotions are. His hands loosen around the steering wheel and he blinks in a daze. Oh, what an unusual reaction. He's never felt such indescribable hatred, and rarely does he think about using such unnecessary violence, preferring to use tools rather than his bare hands on an individual. Perhaps seeing Adam hurt awoke the parental side of him. He does care about the band members after all. He tucks it away for later to give it a proper dissection. I apologize. Could you repeat that? I'm afraid I missed what you said. Adam's jaw ticks as he wipes away the faint sheen of sweat gathering above his brow, but he's far more subdued than usual and his words lack their usual bite. Did you bring sutures? I'm freaking bleeding out here if you hadn't noticed. Saffron tuts as he reaches into the back seat and retrieves a small white medical kit. He hands it over to Adam. Thanks. A dry response and one that lacks genuine gratitude. Saffron can't help but smile as Adam pulls out the needle and begins sewing his skin back together. Doesn't that hurt? Always with the crass language, this one. But at least he gets to see the real Adam. Most people in their lives will never know the cruel being lurking behind his modest persona. Never know how many bodies left in Adam's wake that Saffron took the liberty of cleaning up. You'll never experience such a pleasure because they've never understand it. They call him a monster, drag him into the electric chair for their version of justice, despite the fact Adam stands for the very same thing they do, working to eliminate the sinners posed as saints. Not to that extent, no. He just doesn't mind having a little fun before snuffing out their miserable existence. And no one will ever find out. Not unless. Saffron starts the car. Not unless you reveal their secret. No. Everything will turn out fine. You shouldn't think about the worst case scenario. Besides, you're just one measly little piece of livestock who managed to escape the packaging plant. You operate the same as most people. You'll slip up at some point because you're in a panic state, and those who let their feelings overwhelm them tend to make plenty of mistakes that both he and Adam can take advantage of. There's just one thing nagging at him. Adam almost always executed his plans with flawless precision. So what did you do in order to catch him off guard? Adam won't answer outright, he's sure. Something Saffron himself will have to piece together. Not that he doesn't mind a good puzzle from time to time. Keeps him sharp. Stop, Adam says, pausing mid-stitch to look at Saffron. I can tell what you're thinking, just leave it alone. I have no idea what you're referring to. You know exactly what I mean. Is there a reason you're so desperate to hide it? Is there a reason you're being so annoyingly persistent about it? Saffron sighs, reining in his frustration. Getting mad at Adam won't help and will further him from his goal. He tries again. I understand your discomfort, and I wouldn't if it weren't so important. Someone got the upper hand on you. What if they manage to do it a second time? What if they kill you, or worse? I can't let that happen, Adam. I won't allow it. Adam's quiet for a moment. When Saffron's eyes skirt over to see what's causing such a long pause, he catches the other man touching his lips while wearing a slight frown on his face. Saffron notices for the first time they're swollen. It won't happen, Adam says at last. His fingertips trail from his lips over to the ever-present earring. It glints under the glow of the sunlight, as if even God approves of whatever decision he's come to. It won't happen, because I won't let it. Saffron will toss a shudder as Adam's gaze cuts over to him. Not out of fear, but in the light of a hunt that will end in a satisfying conclusion for the both of them. Because if anything, Adam's just as hungry of a monster as he is. How did these two find each other? They're so freaky. Fire's Bar and Grill, earlier. Saffron trusts Adam's decision to redeem himself. From the way Adam spoke, whatever you did to him was unforgivable, and Saffron knows it's not just because you stabbed him. No, it's something much deeper. More complicated. Like you somehow shook the very foundation of his being. How you did it, Saffron doesn't know, but either way, Adam will eliminate you without mercy. It was just a kiss. So silly. Because on the off chance he doesn't. Saffron's eyes flicker towards the glove compartment box. He reaches over and pops it open, revealing a hidden revolver nestled between the slips of paperwork, and traces the cylinder with great affection, his gaze returning to the bar where you disappeared into. Adam gets 10 minutes to redeem himself once we get back to the trailer park. Saffron promises himself as you exit the building in a rush. Close the glove department and tightens his grip around the steering wheel. Otherwise, I go in. Alright, we're back to him. Ruth's trailer, earlier. Adam hovers above the collapsed form of your aunt. Shards of glass lay scattered around her body like a broken teeth, blood splattered across their surface in cruel arches. He nudges her limp wrist with the toe of his boot, having questioned, through all of her incessant begging and pleading, how much more pathetic this woman could get. Turns out, by quite a lot. I told you not to run. Now look at you. You've gone and made a mess of things. Ruth doesn't respond, not that Adam expects her to. She hit her head pretty hard in the corner of the kitchen table. Oop. When she tripped over her own 2 feet in a haste to get away. He hoped to pry information out of her once he finished you off. Things only she might know. Things that could lead him to achieving his ultimate goal and the promise he made to her. But of course not. Because no one in your family can listen for 5 freaking seconds. Adam sighs, scrubbing a tired hand through his hair as he takes in the miserable scene. Something in your aunt's grasp captures his attention. When does she... He bends down, keeping a careful distance from your aunt in case she's hiding one of the glass shards in her free hand, waiting for an opportunity to strike that will never come because he's all too familiar with the same tricks from his previous victims. He picks up the photograph tucked beneath her palm. The photo she kept hidden in her drawer. The one she was so desperate to protect. Takes note of the cracks in the glass fissuring outwards and starting at the edge of the frame, slicing through Ruth's younger self, splitting her apart in a twisted sort of irony. His gaze drifts over each of the 5 women until he lands on the one with wavy brown hair, her shy laughter concealed behind her hand. He almost forgot what it sounded like. Almost forgot the warmth and vibrancy after all these years. He could hear it now. Adam swallows hard and flips the frame over, Undoing the back, letting the foam board fall to the ground with a dull thump before pulling out the picture himself. He peers over the newly freed photo, sparing another glance at your aunt. His expression hardens with hatred. She looks a little more like her younger self like this, her hair loose from the scuffle, her arms spread like angel's wings. But nothing about this woman is angelic. I'll be taking this, Adam says before stuffing the picture into his wallet for safekeeping. If he can't get any information out of her, he reasons he'll just try using other resources like this photo instead. Maybe even you might know something considering your connection to Ruth. Some secret she could have spilled without you realizing their significance. Don't take back? Adam catches the sound of a small, desperate whisper. He peers down at your Aunt Ruth. He cocks his head to the side, almost mockingly. Oh, are you still alive? She doesn't say anything, but he notices a flicker of movement from her hand. The same one he took the photo from. Huh? Stubborn and resilient. Just like you. Well, at least he could still glean answers from her and put an end to her miserable existence in the worst way possible. One eating spit. He knows just the perfect ending for a woman like her. Adam lowers himself again, right as she makes a croaking sound, unable to distinguish what she's trying to convey. She's just garbling nonsense at this point. But he has all the time in the world. So he'll play along the same way he did with you on that highway. He enjoys toying with his food as much as the next serial killer. What's wrong? Adam asks with a mock concern, his tone sugary sweet with a bitter aftertaste. What, you want your little picture back? He waves the empty frame around before tossing the empty fixture towards her. The frame lands right beside her immobile arm. Her finger twitches in response. Adam's voice dips, lowering him with malice. Do you really think you'll need that where you're going? She doesn't respond, leaving Adam to wonder if she passed out again or died on him. Adam scoffs. You know, you're really shit at holding a conversation. Again, he gets nothing out of her. How disappointing. Adam's burner phone buzzes and he glances at the message sent by Saffron. They're almost here. Adam smirks and pockets his phone, his body humming with anticipation. Showtime, he says and tries heading for the door when he feels a hand draft out and wrap around his ankle, the grip weak but persistent. Nails dig into the fabric of his jeans. Give it back. Adam pauses, staring down at her hand, invading his freaking personal space, taking in her poor attempt at stopping him with cold detachment. And if I don't, you'll what? Kill me? He reaches down and detaches her fingers one by one, focusing on uncurling them before he gives into his primal urge. He wants to wring her neck, twist and snap her bones, watching as the life drains out of her. He wants her to suffer just as much as she did. Oh, this bitch is the entire reason he can't freaking stand liars. Adam, I don't know if you remember me. Of course he does. After all, how could he freaking forget? Back to him. Adam? Screaming. So much screaming. He covers his ears, closes his eyes, and tries to escape through his mind and thoughts, but they're all twisted together like a hastily wrapped ball of yarn. There's a thump followed by a crash from somewhere downstairs. Probably in the kitchen. Why? Because it's always the stupid kitchen. The angry cacophony of curses and shouts reverberates through the closed bathroom door where Adam hides. He didn't want to stay downstairs in his room. Not when things are like this. He's afraid to get pulled into the fray. You keep making a fool out of me. Another crash and the sound of glass breaking. Adam ducks his head as if words are physical and objects that are easily hurled and someone just chucked them at his face. Stop it, just stop it. He shakes his head as tears stream down his cheeks. Please, just stop. But it keeps going and going, getting worse and worse, making him sob harder and harder to a point that he's afraid someone will overhear. He can't get caught crying again. Not after last time. He can still remember the acrid scent of cigarette smoke and the suffocating darkness of the shed, his palms flat against the rotting floor as he waited with his head bowed. No, he's learned his lesson too many times to count. So he curls in on himself, trying to control his breathing and stifle the sounds of his anguish with his trembling hands. You look so much like your father. Adam still remembers the cruel expression on the woman's face as she said it. The muffled giggles and concealed laughter that followed. The hand on his shoulder tightening at the comment, drawing him away from the open stairs and into one of the empty seats. I can't believe I didn't see it before. He looked so much like him. He wanted to scream, to deny anything that linked them together. I'm not him, I'm not him, I'm not him, I'm not. I'll never forgive you. The guttural screams make him jump, then tremble in fear. He hates this, hates that woman for causing it. Why? Why did Miss Aspen say that? And why did it cause all of this? He didn't comprehend the meaning behind any of it and doesn't know if he ever will. He remains there for what feels like hours, arms and legs going numb from being stuck in the same position for so long, terrified of making any noise that draws attention. And everything just stops. An easy quiet fills the house and Adam shivers. He wiggles his toes, trying to regain feeling in them, listening out for the chaos to pick them up again. It doesn't. And that's much worse. Feet shuffle up the staircase, and Adam squeezes his eyes closed. I'm not here, I'm not here, I'm not here. The door to his bathroom slams open, and Adam jerks upright as the lights flare to life. His bottom lip trembles as he looks through the door. Adam? Back to him. Ruth's trailer, current time. Oh, it was her. Adam gets thrust back into the present, and in the sight of the woman at his feet makes his lips curl in disgust. She repeats herself. Adam? Back? No, he's never forgotten her. Not even for a moment. He lifts Ruth by her wrist, dangling her in the air so that they're face to face. Their nose is almost touching while she hangs there, limp. Are you really in the position to make demands? Because from where I'm standing, I think you should shut the hell up and wait until I'm done with that nasty little relative of yours. But sure, keep testing my patience. See where it gets you. Glad we see eye to eye. Adam lowers her but keeps a hold up her wrist to keep her filthy, blood-stained hands off of him. He's gonna need a blistering hot shower after this. Whereas your touch ignites deep-seated want, hers feels like 1,000 maggots crawling all over his skin, burying their way into his insides and eating away at his entrails. He'll hold on to this disgust while dealing with you. Because he can't let you get close again. He won't let you. Adam composes himself when light floods through the shattered window of the small, darkened trailer. He watches as your car pulls up, followed by Saffron's referred truck. He must have brought it in preparation for the massacre that's about to happen. Despite this, Adam can clearly hear Saffron complaining about the fact that you'll take up room, your body filling up the spaces in his precious freezer, unwanted unless he gets desperate. Saffron's a choosy guy. Irony not lost on Adam considering the man's diet. The flower boy will live another day. Poor flower boy, he's the next target. For now. Adam hears the crunch of your sneakers over the gravel, followed by a knock at the door. He reaches for the abundance of chains, taking his time in doing each one to send your heart thumping and your mind racing. You can almost feel your trepidation leaking through the door. You're scared, aren't you? Click. Well, you should be. Click. 'Cause he's been waiting. Click, click. This is why I wish, why can't a character have a gun? A gun would be very useful right now. Ruth's trailer, current time. I finally found you, my elusive little pest. Adam. Your mouth goes dry at the sight of the purple-haired demon in the flesh. And how does he greet you? With a freaking knife. Try looking down at the aforementioned knife without moving your neck. Otherwise, you'll impale yourself like a shish kebab. Note it's covered in dried blood. Did he seriously not, at the very least, clean the thing? And who does it belong to? You or someone else? Your eyes wandered over to your aunt, who lays motionless on the ground a few feet away from where you crash-landed after Adam jump-scared you. It's yours, he says, reading your mind. Your aunt did that with no real effect on my part. Right. And he's also just as a hurt, misunderstood soul. He just needs lots of hugs and unconditional love to fix off his baggage and deep-seated issues. Cause if you learned anything, a smooch a day keeps the serial killers at bay. Okay, sarcasm aside, the last part's a little bit untrue. Casing the killer ultimately did save your life when you were neck deep in trouble and helped you avoid getting skewered. But even so, you're not buying his bull. The man lies as easily as he breathes. He's a repeat offender considering none of his general audience knows he murders people for shits and giggles. Or at least, that's what you assume. It's either that or for a power trip. Quite not possibly both considering how Adam's personality flip-flops between cocky and aggressive. Why else target complete strangers? You contemplate this as you try adjusting the angle of your neck in order to put some much needed space between you and Adam's weapon of choice. Well, that and to check if your aunt's still alive. But Adam pursues you, giving you no wiggle room to work with, and he rewards your efforts by giving you a soft warning prick. Eyes on me. He winces at the stinging sensation before fixing him a glare. Oh yeah, you forgot about his issues of personal space. Considering your bubble pop for the rest of your interactions because you're not getting it back with him around. Your earlier fear goes up in a puff of smoke, annoyance sinking over the mantle instead. I'd say go screw yourself, but after recalling our case from yesterday, I doubt you know how. I forgot all this all happened in the span of a day, huh? Adam's jaw ticks at the comment. Oh yeah, buddy. Feel the salt in the wound. Oh, sorry. Too soon? You say in a mock embarrassment, widening your eyes to establish that you aren't sorry in the slightest, going straight for his weak point in retaliation since he went after yours. That's like yet Aunt Ruth is, you're not letting her die for your poor decisions. Adam's your burden, your cross to bear. You should have killed him when you had a chance, but you didn't. You won't make that mistake again. Not when you're armed with your own weapon tucked into the waistband of your pants. You never learn, do you? Adam says, withdrawing his blade. Right before it descends on your already wounded shoulder. Screw your eyes shut and turn your head unable to duck out of the way when Adam boxes you in. You wait for the inevitable pain of the knife tearing through your skin and muscle, flashing back to the horrific moment of the highway when you try contacting emergency services, your body readying itself when... Thunk. Nothing comes. Just a condescending chuckle from Adam when you open your eyes to find a knife embedded into the wall right above your shoulder. His eyes glitter with amusement over your reaction. Great. So he's gone from outright stabbing to psychological torture. Exactly what you need. So much bravado, and yet you're still afraid of me. That's good. Adam whispers, his breath warm in your ear as he leans close. You should be. He repositions his knife at the hollow of your neck when he draws back, reaching into his back pocket with his free hand. I've got a few questions for you since your dear aunt couldn't bother to answer them herself. You raise an eyebrow at him. Oh yeah, because an unconscious woman can totally help. Forgive my aunt for her poor manners. I'm so sure she's so sorry for that, despite all the trauma you put her through. You jolt upon feeling the knife move, a subtle shift that leaves you wondering if you pushed him too far when you feel the steel travel downward instead. Adam's unamused by your jeering. You're stretching his patience. But for some reason he's not hurting or killing you. In part, you're relieved, but also question why. How many times? Adam asked, pushing aside the collar of your shirt with the tip of his knife to reveal a mess of gauze and medical tape underneath. Do I have to remind you what I'm capable of when you've already experienced it? Are you really that freaking stupid? My clients say it's part of my charm. An odd expression consumes Adam's face at the mention of your clientele, but you blink and it's gone, replaced by his usual scowl whenever you dare to open your mouth. finally pulls out whatever is in his pocket, a thin slip of paper, and unfolds the parchment. He presents you with a picture of your aunt and 4 other women. Now tell me, do you recognize any other woman aside from your aunt? You open your mouth prepared to fire off another quip, but Adam flips the knife and ankles it towards your jugular. You swallow hard. Adam taps the picture against the seam of your lips. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Otherwise my hands might just slip, so I suggest. Cocky little smirk tugs at the corner of his mouth. You choose your words wisely. Damn, you really don't have much of a choice but to comply. Fine then. You remain complacent. For now. Take your time studying the photo when something about the woman positioned at the far left of the group with her petal pink dress and delicate frame captures your attention. While the rest of the women laugh openly, hers conveys a distinct shyness, almost as if she doesn't want the others to notice. Yet that's not what bothers you. It's the fact that you recognize her hair. But how? You examine each one of her features, poring over each minute in detail, in order to figure out where you remember those Cupid's bow's lips and high cheekbones from. She's model, pretty, distinguishable within any crowd, much like the rest of her friends. Birds of a feather flock together, you think, and knows how her arms are in link with the others. So the cat comes. Adam wraps a finger along the top of the photo. Tick-tock. You're running out of time. You don't even bother glancing up. Hold your knife, kink horses. We're trying to concentrate. Then hurry up. The hand containing the photo darts out and grips the back of your neck, forcing your head up to meet his gaze. The sharp press of his blade goes to the underside of your jaw. His legs are wedged between yours, one on the other side, his knee pressed against the inside of your thigh as he kneels before you, purple tips of his hair tickling your cheek. Yeah, he's that close. His proximity makes your heart pound, but not in a, oh my god, he's so dreamy sort of way, but in the, oh, he's gonna gut you like a fish sort of way. You weigh your options, deliberating on headbutting him, but decide against it due to the sharp obstacle blocking your way. He's not underestimating you this time. Adam refuses to give you any ample opportunities to take advantage of his weakness. The knife isn't just there as a threat, but as a barrier. You know I can't see the photograph of his angle, right? You've looked at it for long enough, now tell me. He lowers his head, those pitch black eyes flashing red, his mouth stretching into a snarl. What do you know? You frown as you study the movement of his lips. Then a light clicks on in your head and you start connecting the dots. The high cheekbones, the Cupid's bow lips, right down to her wavy hair. Those features are a perfect match for the man right in front of you. You blurt out the words right before you can stop them. Holy shit, why didn't I realize earlier? You look so much like her. Adam goes absolutely still. His pallor turns chalk white, his expression on a mixed up cocktail of emotions ranging from angry to haunted to tortured, all in the span of a few minutes. What did you just say? He's shaking so hard you feel yourself vibrate thanks to your close proximity. The knife disappears from your throat and you know it's now or never because you won't find a better opening than the one presented to you. You don't know what triggered him. You don't care. All you know is that your hands are reaching for the kitchen knife at your waist, driven by the instinct to kill him for everything that he's done and going to do. Only one of you will walk out of here alive. He'll make sure it's you. I don't know about that when Saffron's outside. Adam's lost in the daze when you bring her arm up in a wide arch, to which Adam dodges a moment too late, the front of his hoodie tearing in the process, blood spraying against the trailer walls. You try going for his black hole of a heart next when Adam springs away from you. In a flash, he's at your aunt's side, and your knife spears through the empty air, lodging into the musty carpet flowing as you bring it down. You give the knife a harsh yank before getting to your feet. The picture Adam used to interrogate you with flutters to the floor like a flag being dropped to the signal to start of a match. Ding ding. Adam presses a hand to his chest before drawing it away to reveal blood smeared on his palm. Hope that hurts, you asshole, because there's more where that came from. practically spitting in his direction, geared up for a fight after all the hell he's put you through for the past 2 days. Oh, it's been 2 days, okay. Unrelenting in his pursuit. You're going to give this guy a taste of his own medicine. Adam's slow to look up. His eyes are narrowed, but to your surprise, he's smiling, teeth bare like he plans on using them to rip you apart. It's primal, that smile, like he's been waiting for this moment for his entire life. Like he's been waiting for a reason to finally end this. Cute, Adam says, his voice dipping low as he gives an expert flip of his knife for catching it by the hilt with trained precision. No, that's not good. He points the tip of the blade in your direction. But I promise I'm better. And quick as a whip, he's on you like a beast released from his cage, a snarl ripping from his throat as he tries slashing at your arm wielding the kitchen knife. You manage to pull back in time and hear the whistle of metal slicing through the air, your knife cradled against your chest as you hit a wall. Adam descends on you. You try your best to keep him at bay, but you're an amateur in comparison to his seasoned practice. A fact that becomes crystal clear within seconds. He forces you to go on the defensive while he goes full offense, his attacks jarring and harsh, forcing you to block one after the other in favor of lashing out again. Each blow chips at your already dwindling strength. Your injured shoulder burns from the exertion. You can't keep up at this rate. Everything aches, the pain echoing bone deep, causing your movements to become slow and clumsy. You're getting tired, worn down, but Adam is not. If anything, he's invigorated by your struggle to keep up, as if he's soaking up your fear to help fuel his bloodlust. There's a knowing smirk at the corner of his lips. Oh, he knows you're delaying the inevitable. His endurance will outlast yours, and once you falter, he's going in for the kill like a snake constricting a mouse until its body folds. You both know he's got the advantage here. The odds are stacked against you. They were right from the beginning when you made the mistake of pulling over. There's got to be a way out of this. That's why people don't pull over for hitchhikers no more. Because of people like Adam. You grit your teeth, oh, that's a typo. Sweat dripping down your brow and along the curve of your spine as you try to fight back. Try to find an opening. You won't find one. Adam taunts, guessing your train of thought yet again. Why don't you just give in to me? We both know you won't last much longer. He substantiates his point with another rough jab of his blade. Your teeth rattle from the impact, you almost lose your grip on your knife, but you manage to remain firm. If anything, you're stubborn. A trait he couldn't beat out of you even if he tried. Oh, come on now, you say with a huff. Now you're making the sex jokes way too easy. You gasp at his knife comes down harder than ever in retaliation to your obvious jab, still paying with his various blows. Is that really all you freaking think about? Adam says, clearly seething. Oh, he's cranky now. A fact that you take pure delight in if he didn't say what he says next. Considering how you kissed me and after finding about that online job before his eye, your entire body goes cold. How the hell do you know about my job? You wear a mask to conceal your identity, not out of shame but for privacy reasons. So how does he know what you do for a living? No, you guess you shouldn't be surprised. He's a stalker after all. You don't doubt he dug into your background, probably at some point after you gave him the slip. I have a better question. Let out a yelp as he manages to grab hold of your wrist while you're processing this new information. You lose your grip on the knife and Adam kicks it away, shoving your one method of defense somewhere behind him with a scuffed boot before pinning your arm over your head. You raise your other arm to fight him off, but he grabs that one just as easily. It joins the first, both now pinned underneath his grasp. You lift your leg up to kick him, but he uses his body to restrain yours, your hips perfectly aligned. The knife returns to your throat and you stop struggling. Great. Back to square one. Tell me something. Adam peers down at you with a harsh sense of judgment. Why the hell did you kiss me back then on the highway? Why was that your first instinct? Is it because of your fixation on sex? Like, she did that to survive. Like, don't think too deeply. You could have fought me, gone for my eye, punched me, anything but shoving your tongue down my throat. So why? Why did you do it? He broke out a harsh laugh devoid of humor. That's what he's focusing on? This right now of all things? But you're starting to piece everything together. You guess that counts for something. For someone to accuse me of thinking about sex all the time, that question is pretty hypocritical. I'm starting to think it's you who's obsessed with sex, and now you're just projecting. It would explain a lot. What? You say with a mock concern as his mouth twists into a scowl. Are you frustrated because you can't stop thinking about it? Thinking about me? Is that why you get upset whenever I bring the topic up? Because you want me? The air grows thick, heavy with unspoken tension, as your words hang therein, between you two. Hear the pitter-patter of rain against the trailer roof, the rest of the world going quiet as if anticipating Adam's response, wondering what he'll do next. Whatever it is, you're ready. Aunt Ruth? Oh, she's still kicking. A current time. Ruth's mind fractures, splits apart, then gets reassembled once again before the cycle repeats. Here's muffled argument, her ears stuffed with what feels like cotton, unable to decipher the string of conversation or figure out whose voice this belongs to. Glass cuts into Ruth's cheeks, arms, and legs. Hurts. Everything hurts. She's disoriented, unable to remember how she got acquainted with the floor. What Ruth does remember, and the only thing she seems to remember, is a man taunting her with the face of the woman she once cared for. With the face of her first love. Aha, I knew it. How cruel. Ruth reaches for the photo, the only picture she has of her first love, because if she's going to die, she wants to die by her side. That's all she can ask for. Her hands fumble over the shards of glass, but finds the space beside her empty. And another memory clicks into place. Adam taking her away. Adam shoving the photo into his pocket, mocking her feeble attempts to get her back. Adam. The hellspawn birth from the hips of an angel. A monster in the making, just like that bastard, the one who took what she couldn't have, telling her that her love was a sin. That it was vile. And she wanted to prove him wrong. Wrong, 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 and now she's gone. These men keep taking her love away from her. Adam and that bastard both. Ruth leaves on the ground, her fist clenching when she sees something glittering from an arm's length away. Like a present. Like a gift from God. Ruth reaches out and wraps her fingers around the handle of the forgotten kitchen knife. Oh, she gonna go for the stab? Him? Is that why you get upset whenever I bring the topic up? Because you want me? The words hit Adam like a freight train as soon as they pour out of your mouth. A violent clash of flesh and metal, his head spinning on impact. What the hell are you implying? Denial surfaces in his brain, something most people do upon confrontation, and Adam's no different. You're wrong. He doesn't want you. He'll never want you. But Adam knows he's lying to himself because of the excuses he makes just to touch you, reasoning that he's only using his body to trap you, and not because he wants to get close enough to feel your body heat, to feel you. Yes, he wants you. God, he wants you. His dream self-admitted as much, and the thought disturbs him. It makes him sick about having these feelings. He needs to kill you, and yet he's acting like a kitten seeking warmth for the first time. You're flush against him, your bodies without a centimeter of space between them, and all he wants to do is lift you up and... No. Adam crushes the thought without mercy. Where would he feeling this blanket, unwelcome desire? He can't give in to this particular sin. He's made a promise he vowed never to give in. You're a temptation, one he's desperate to overcome. You're the hardest obstacle he's ever faced, one many would say the devil put in his path to lead him astray. You mean killing people isn't what led you astray in the first place? But Adam wonders if regular people are the real devils. He's almost certain you are. His own little devil, meant to seduce him away from his original purpose. But he won't. He can't. You break the silence, your voice alluring as a siren to a ship's captain. Why are you so quiet? Not even going to deny it. He raised his brow at him in his lack of rebuttal, Like, you can read his thoughts and see the war raging behind his eyes. His lips curl into a snarl. Don't you do that. Don't you dare look at him like that, like you've got him figured out. Adam presses the knife deeper into your skin so that it's almost cutting into your neck, and you wince despite the fact he purposely didn't break your skin. One more push, though, and there be blood, plenty of it. Your chest heaves against his in response to the unspoken threat. He's breathing heavier, too. He convinced himself it's because you're afraid and that he loves your fear, and that's why he's breathing so hard, and not because of the friction of your chest against his. Oh my god, he's that close? His lust for blood always outweighs his attraction towards other people. So why shouldn't it work now? Answering one question with another. How very like you. I seem to recall a certain someone whimpering against my mouth, unable to restrain himself. Are you telling me that was a different serial killer? I wouldn't be surprised considering you kissed me, complete stranger. Nasty habit you got there, kissing dangerous men. Do you do that often? If so, maybe I should get it out of you, starting from here. He taps your chin with the tip of his blade before guiding it down your front, shifting his body to allow the knife to glide towards the top of your navel as if tracing lines on the map. To here. As your expression hardens, he smirks and realigns your body, turning the curve of his blade to your throat. How does that sound? I'll get you properly so the pain will only be a little agonizing. We can take it nice and slow. You raise an eyebrow at Adam. Okay, now it just sounds like you're trying to flirt with me, and it's getting a little sad. Sorry, Adam, but you're not my type. I like men who don't stab me upon first meeting. It's called having standards. Adam's lips curl into a snarl. If that's how you see this, then you're delusional. His nails dig at your wrist, and you bite your lips to keep from crying out. He ignores the way his body throbs. How'd you keep forgetting? I almost killed you the last time, and I'm capable of far worse because I've done worse. Make that of what you will, but there is nothing about you that will keep you safe from me. You're deluding yourself into a narrative that you built based on one experience. Then say it. Or better yet, go through with it. You challenge, not backing down. Because as far as I can tell, you've had plenty of opportunities to torture the answers you want out of me, and yet you haven't even cut me once. Why is that, Adam? You stabbed me as soon as you got the chance when we first met, so why aren't you doing it now? Why are there only threats and none of your previous violence? You gesture over to your aunt with your chin. You did to her, so why not me? Come on, Adam. Tick-tock. You quote him from earlier. Adam's gaze narrows. You spoil you too much by not following through with his threats. He'll have to change that. Are you sure you're in any position to push me? You think I'm not capable of hurting you anymore? That I can't kill you once I get what I want out of you? I beg to differ. He presses his forehead against yours, forcing you to look into his eyes to see his resolve, burning hatred for what you awoke in him. Then beg. You say with zero hesitation, lifting your chin and holding his gaze like you're his equal. 'Cause even with this, your eyes go up to gesture towards your foreheads before locking on Adam's face once more. You're just finding excuses to touch me. I know what attraction looks like, Adam. I've seen it with my clients, seen it in my everyday life of what happens when a man wants someone, and you match the entire definition. Why are you so afraid to admit it? Scared I'll use it against you like last time? Afraid you'll like it too much? Your body shifts against his, and Adam withholds a groan, grinding his teeth to cover up the wince that follows. Too late. He sees you're already caught on. He needs to prove you're wrong. That your body isn't his ultimate weakness, and he's not someone pathetic enough to be controlled by sexual desires. He's not your client. He's not like any of them. And he'll show all of you here and now. Adam withdraws his blade, rises it high over his head, and says, Wrong move. Before bringing the knife down. On who? Oh, Saffron? Outside the van, current time. Counts down the minutes ticking by. 5, then 4, then 3. At 2, Saffron pulls out his gun and loads 3 bullets into the chamber. Glances up at the trailer he's parked in front of. 1 more minute, and he's going in. Uh-oh. Don't want him to come in. Okay. Adam's knife comes down. You brace yourself for the familiar sensation of steel tearing through flesh and bone, knowing the fatality of fighting but trying anyway. You thought you had Adam pegged, that you had him all figured out. You thought you understood why he hesitated. But you didn't. And now you're going to pay the ultimate price. And there's nothing you could do to stop it. Chest puffed, stay strong. You grab onto your old friend's phrase like a lifeline, keeping your gaze locked with Adam's in one final act defiant, willing the hatred in your eyes to haunt him for the rest of his days. It was you who couldn't escape him in life, but in death you were determined to return the favor tenfold. You curse him until the day he dies. You don't even bother to keep track with the blade as it plummets towards your chest in an act of sheer stubborn willpower, refusing to show any signs of weakness. At least, even through all of this, you could take consolation in the fact that he was never able to break you. Now you maintain some sort of dignity, and even in the end. You clench your fist. You jut out your chest, and you hold your head up high, like you're above this, above him. Adam notices the subtle change in your demeanor, his eyes widening in surprise, as though he expected for you to crack and start begging for mercy. The knife comes down and stops. I knew he was gonna stop. Right above your heart. Adam's breathing hard, his hands shaking with visible frustration, unable to tear himself away from your captive gaze. He tries again. Adam raises his arm, brings the knife down, and the invisible chains that stopped him the first time around stop him yet again, something holding him back, something giving him pause, as he fights tooth and nail to deliver on his promise. Adam's gaze flickers down to his traitorous hands, the same ones that refuse to give in to his commands before returning to look at you. Adam's jaw clenches, his molars grinding. You're surprised he didn't chip a tooth in the process. Damn it. Adam hurls the knife away, the steel embedding itself perfectly into the wall, parallel from where he threw it. God damn you, God damn you. Oh, he's crying. Oh. Adam's hands encircle your throat and he slams you into the wall. You claw at his fingers, his arms, his chest. You're losing oxygen fast. Your vision turns black at the corners. Spots dip in and out of your peripheral like glittering stars. You can feel him shaking again, this time for an entirely different reason. You can feel how desperate he is to kill you, to escape the humiliation of his attraction towards you. He's acting like a wild animal, trapped and afraid. Tears prick at the corner of his eyes, and you witness something genuine and raw rise to the surface. Vulnerability. Why the hell did you have to appear? Why? Are you here to torture me? Screw with me? To break me? His voice cracks and fissures as his hands tighten and constrict, a roar rampaging behind those darkened eyes. He's battling the deep-seated truth of your words. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel like any of this. I need to stop. I need you to stop. I'm begging you to just stop. Why can't you just have done like everyone else? Why did you have to kiss me? His hands give one last squeeze and then they're gone. You take in a much needed lungful of air, coughing and sputtering as you collapse against the wall. You're trying to catch your breath when Adam's face grows nearer. What is he? The question dies in your throat as soon as you see the intent behind Adam's eyes. His lips parted as his warm breath brushes against your skin, his expression tortured as though he knows what he's about to do will ruin him. Hear a scraping sound coming from above. His nails. They're clawing their way down the wall in a feeble attempt to restrain himself from giving in. I hate that I want you. His voice is barely above a whisper before his mouth descends upon yours. Your head spins from his quick and sudden transition, and you don't even have time to shove him away, his lips almost brushing yours, but not quite when... Give her back. Nope, the aunt. Can't forget about her. Someone roars from behind Adam, and all of a sudden his body jerks forward, his back bending at the impact of an unseen blow as something slams into him. There's a sickening wind thump followed by a gross squelching sound. Adam grunts through clenched teeth. Give her back, give her back, give her back. Another thump follows the first, where Adam growls and sweeps his arm out, sending the person behind him, your Aunt Ruth, flying across the roof. She collides with the wall before slumping to the floor. Too bad she didn't get him in the neck. Ooh. Ruth blinks, momentarily stunned. In her hand, she wields a knife drenched in crimson, the same one Adam kicked away moments before. When Adam turns his back to you, focusing all of his attention on your arm, he spots two fresh wounds near Adam's shoulder blades in near identical slits. They remind you of what's left behind when a fallen angel gets stripped off their wings. Adam sways like a drunken man. He braces his hand against the wall, nails torn and bleeding from where he clawed at it earlier, keeping himself from kissing you. Right. He almost kissed you. Voluntarily. Looks like your blossoming theory was right in the money. Not that that's something to celebrate. You'd rather your milkshakes not bring all the serial killers to the yard. Least of all, Adam. You shake your head to clear your mind. Nope, nope, nope. Maybe someday you can unpack this shit in therapy when you can, afford it, to figure out why your milkshakes bring all the serial killers to the yard. But for right now, you've got bigger fish to fry, namely the aforementioned serial killer who looks like he's about ready to pounce on your Aunt Ruth and strangle her to death. Or worse. I should have killed you when I had the chance. Adam Brass stumbling towards her with uneven steps. Your aunt gets to her feet, gasping onto the counter for support, and you freeze upon seeing the unabashed rays pulsating off her in thick waves. She directs everything she has at Adam, all of her ugliest emotions laid bare. You've never related to her more. Ruth's lips peel back into a snarl, her lips stained red as though she's applied too much makeup. The storm rampaging behind her eyes, overshadowing the moon soon going on outside. She looks unstable, insane, broken. She spits her ritual at Adam, her words containing a venom that's poisoned each syllable. I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you for everything you've done, you sick, twisted little bastard. How dare you? How dare you wear her face and do this to me? How dare you taunt me this way? How dare you? Tears fall from her hardened eyes, but she scrubs them away with a rough jerk of her wrist. I'll end this. I'll end you. Adam staggers again, but he gives a low chuckle devoid of humor as he rips his knife from where it juts out of the wall. His own hatred rivals your aunt's. Funny, he says, using the sleeve of his hoodie to wipe your crusted blood off his knife in one quick swipe. Because a long time ago, you told me I looked just like him. Was that another one of your freaking lies? Or did you know what would happen if you said something like that? Ruth bows her head. Well, did you? Come on, Miss Aspen, tell the truth for once in your miserable life. Your fault? Adam tilts his head in that animalistic way of his, a hunter listening for prey out in the long stalks of grass. What was that? Speak up, I can't hear. It's your fault she's gone. Your aunt screams in a raw outburst of emotion, glass shards digging into her heel as she gives an angry stomp of her foot. You recoil at the sheer volume. What's going on? They're almost acting like they know each other from somewhere, like they have some sort of shared past with each other. This isn't just about Adam breaking into her trailer and attacking her, but rather another matter entirely, something that caused your Aunt Ruth to dive into the depths of madness and come out swinging. It's like they have an unresolved grudge from before you ever entered the picture. Wait, the picture Adam showed you before, Ruth and that woman that looks like Adam were both in it. Something happened between them? Your mind swirls the possibilities of what it all means as Ruth continues. You're the reason she endured everything she did. It was all for you, and yet you killed her. Your entire existence destroyed her. I told her, Aunt says, between frantic gasps, nearly sobbing. I told her she shouldn't have gone through with the pregnancy, but she wouldn't listen. Ruth clutches her chest as if preparing herself to tear out her own heart in order to spare herself from the painful burden of the memories she's uprooting. Adam remains quiet, but his knuckles turn white. He's gripping the hilt of his knife so hard. Whatever she's saying, it's affecting him too. What did he do to her? You know this all started because of you, don't you? But she never told you that because she wouldn't want you to blame yourself. You should have. He watched with mounting horror as Ruth's feet leave behind bloody tracks as she steps over the glass, daring to get closer to Adam. He remains eerily silent as she gets in his space and jabs at his chest. And now she's gone because of you. You took her away. You took her away. You goddamn piece of shit. You took her away again. Oh wait, how did the mom die? I don't know if it was mentioned in chapter 1. I don't remember. I have to look back. She's breathing hard as she reaches the end of her crazed rant. Adam's absolutely still. For a moment, no one moves. You're not even sure if any of you are breathing. Then there's a lightning strike and the room becomes illuminated in a yellowish glow that shows Adam lifting his head. And all hell breaks loose. Adam's on your arm in an instant because even while he's wounded, he's fast. He grabs her finger and you hear the sickening crack of bones breaking, like a twig being snapped in two. Your aunt screams and flails, her knife managing to cut into Adam's cheek, but he remains upturned and instead disarms her by severing the tendons in her fingers. Oh my god. She loses the grip of her knife and Adam's other arm darts out, wrapping a hand around her throat. Then he's lifting her into the air. A cold-blooded killer once more. Her legs fail and click, her fist thumping against his arms as her feet leave the ground. You scream your aunt's name and search for something to stop him. You won't let him kill her. You need to act. Now. Oh, I got a choice. Okay, there's choices. Distract him or kill him. I don't think killing him will do it, but I will try. You duck forward and grab for the knife because you're not a freaking coward. Your hand's wrapping around the base of the handle. Adam's too busy with Ruth to notice, a big mistake on his part. He'll pay for his hubris in the worst way possible. He's forgotten how much of a threat you really are because once you commit to something, you're committed and you're determined to put this monstrosity of a man 6 feet under. You're going to save your aunt and get the hell out of here, no matter the cost. You lift your knife and thrust it into Adam's lower back, driving him forward, the force of your body slamming into his, Adam making a choke sound as you do. Adam must be tall for them not to go for the neck. Aunt Ruth's neck gives a sickening crack. Ooh. Yeah, here it killed her, and Adam drops her. She falls to the ground in a crumpled heap, like a blanket lying forgotten next to a bed during the hustle and bustle of someone running late to work. Her neck is bent at an awkward angle. Her eyes are open but devoid of life. No. No, 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 no. In your urgency, you foolishly believed you could protect Ruth from Adam, that you can make up for the mistake of bringing him here. But you couldn't. And now she's dead. You let out a blood-curdling scream in part because you feel at fault while also going mad with rage, causing you to literally see red as you thrust a knife in and out of Adam's body. His blood splashes across your cheeks, dappling your arms and coats your clothes. All the things he's done to you, stalking you, stabbing you, mocking you, holding your aunt hostage, cultivate into this sense of righteousness as you bring the knife down again and again. You fall on top of him as he collapses, your legs going on either side of him, pinning him down. He reaches to shake your arm out. You sink the knife teeth into it because he's not getting away from you. No matter what, you're going to kill this guy, even if it's the last thing you do. You resolve far superior to his when he gave up the chance to end your life. Your free hand breaks down his back, your nails showing at the skin of his arm, your nails sinking deep into a muscle. You feel raw, vindicated after all the turmoil he's put you through. You made a righteous decision, putting an end to such a dangerous man's life. This is his fault. He should have left you alone. But he didn't, and now he's paying the ultimate price. Tears stream down your face as you plunge a knife into his spine one last time before you withdraw, your hands shaking from both the rush of adrenaline and a sense of looming dread at what you've done. Oh, he's actually dead. You managed to do it. You took a human life. He went above and beyond self-defense, aiming to draw out his agony other than quickly putting an end to his reign of terror. But it's over, isn't it? No. He's dead, right? Adam? You say his name tentatively, almost like you expect him to get up, dust himself off, and ask you if it's really the best you can do before finishing what he started. You get up, clutching a knife to your chest, searching for signs of life. There are none. Just like Ruth, his eyes are open, but there's no longer a soul behind them. Well, if Adam's even possessed a soul to begin with, which you doubt. You try one more time. Adam? Again he's silent and blood trickles out of the corner of his mouth. He's gone. He's really gone. He's no longer a threat to you or anyone else. It's over. It's over. You're half crying, half laughing now, your breath coming out in ragged gasps before transitioning into a barrage of hiccups because you're so overwhelmed. You bury your face into your hands. You're smiling. Finally, you've been released from this nightmare. You're safe now. Or so you think. You don't hear the front door open. Oh, shoot, no. When a harsh voice makes you jump. Adam? Then a little more frantic, the edges sprayed with disbelief. Adam? You look to see Saffron leaning against the doorway for support, a hand pressed to his mouth, his brows upturned and drawn together as he processes the devastating scene before him. He's staring at Adam, searching for signs of life, but coming up empty. He looks like a parent who just lost his child. Like Adam's death just turned Saffron's entire world upside down. He looks as vulnerable as Adam did before he kissed you. The weakness exposed to its fullest extent. Saffron's voice cracks. What did you do? He's shaking his head and he goes for Adam's side, turning the other man over, his hands cupping Adam's face like he can bring him back to life by willpower alone. Don't you do this to me. Please don't do this to me. You take this as your opportunity to make a break for it while the serial killer number 2 grieves over his loss. Ah. But right as you reach the door, a hand clamps down around your wrist, dragging you, kicking and screaming back into the trailer, shutting the door behind him, sealing you inside and away from prying eyes. Is no one else hearing this? This is the trailer park, right? No one could hear your gut-wrenching cries over the rampaging storm. Oh, right, it's storming outside. The only sign of the torture you endure is the blood leaking out from beneath the door sill, washed away by the drip-drop of rain. Bad end 5, an eye for an eye. Dang! You're like, finally kill Adam, but no! Freaking Saffron is there. Let's see how distracted him goes. You grab a skillet from the kitchen counter in favor of going for the knife currently laying in front of Adam's feet. No, a skillet does do the trick. You aim high and slam the metal against the back of his head. Adam lets out a strangled noise and releases your aunt in the process, sending her tumbling to the floor. If it hit him hard enough, then maybe you could have knocked him out. Ruth scrambles to get away from him, her attempt to flee halted when her back hits the mattress inside of her bed, and her eyes dart towards the small nightstand with a single drawer. Adam cradles the back of the head with a hand he spins on the heel of his boot. He looks like he's ready to inflict the same punishment he did to Ruth onto you, but then recognition clicks. You can see the conflict in his eyes, the hesitation, but you're already on him, because you don't share the same qualms. You drop the skillet and finally go for the kitchen knife, seeing your opportunity and bring your arm in an upward slice. You cut through his fingers, but not enough to sever them, but enough for him to loose his grip on the handle of his own weapon, hear the satisfying clang of metal hitting the floor. He drops to the ground in order to dodge your second follow-up attack. Adam cradles his wounded hand, and looks back up at you, towering over him, knowing full well that you intend to put an end to this. That you intend to put an end to him. You raise your knife in order to deal the final blow while trying to prep yourself for the guilt that probably comes with taking a human life, but knowing it needs to happen when... Ah! Bang. Pain blooms and spreads like poison ivy crawling up the side of a house. You blink in complete and utter confusion. What was... that? Just now. You look up from where Adam is crouched and notice your aunt standing in her bedroom doorway. She's got a gun. Ah, right, forgot she had a gun. She's got a gun in her possession with a drawer open beside her. When she lowers her weapon, you can see her face turning ashen, her eyes going wide like saucers, her gnarled fingers trembling. She mouths something you can't quite make out. You blink again. What happened to your hearing? Was it the bang? Did it somehow burst your eardrums? Try raising your arm, but they hang limply at your sides, refusing to respond. You notice Adam staring at you while on his knees, his own face mirroring on through the horrifying expression, which almost makes you laugh because you feel a little lightheaded and not quite right for some reason. Oh, she must have accidentally shot her. They were just trying to kill each other. Why the sudden pause? Your legs buckle and you almost lose your balance. Oh, that was weird. And damn, why is your side burn? Reach down toward your head in an effort to seek out the source of your growing pain when you feel your entire side coated in something wet and sticky. From where your fingers drip, there's a small hole torn in the fabric of your shirt. It's small and circular in shape, almost like, oh. Just as your brain connects the dots, your other leg gives out and you become weightless as you fall towards the floor, your body's ecosystem finally registering the bullet's presence. An arm cushions the back of your head before it connects with the ground. Who? Darkness and roaches, but you see Adam's blurry form dripped over yours. You recognize that damn purple hair anywhere by now. For some reason, he's yelling and shaking you by the shoulders. Hey, hey! You're closing your eyes, I'm sorry. His voice dips in and out, and you can't make heads or tails of what he's saying, but you don't really care because right now you feel so tired. Your eyelids are getting heavy with the strain of staying awake. You're so exhausted. So very exhausted. Your eyes begin to shut as you feel the pull of eternal sleep. Begin to let yourself go because in doing so, you feel no stress, no pain or fear, or any of the ugly things that come with existence, just blissful silence. Adam calls out to you again, but you don't respond. You let out the darkness take you instead. Back to him. Are we dead? Adam propels himself forward on instinct and catches you mid-fall. Hey, hey! Your eyelashes flutter and shit, just a ton of blood. He tries shaking you to keep you awake, but you're fading fast. The sight of you so weak and defenseless agitates him. Where the hell do you think you get off? You survived him, and yet one bullet to the lower abdomen is too much for you to overcome. You're really going to fool the friendly fire? It's not friendly fire, though. There's no one in hell you're getting out of this that easily. He's not done with you. Do you get that? He's not done with you yet, goddammit. Don't close your eyes, do you hear me? Don't close your eyes. Your breathing slows as the lower half of your shirt becomes soaked in red. You're not listening to him. You're not listening to him, and your eyes close. No matter what he does, they refuse to open. Adam snarls and rips off his hooding, tearing at the cotton sleeve in order to help staunch the constant flow of blood, cradling your limp body in his arms while he hopelessly tends to the wound. You're going to die. You're going to die, and there's nothing you can do. When he closes his eyes, a memory flickers like a candle wick. One of the murky red water in the drip of a bathroom sink, and no, he doesn't care if he needs to drag you from the depths of hell, kicking and screaming so as long as you live. He'll bring you back by force if he has to. He's not letting you go. Wake the hell up. Do you hear me? There's a click of a gun, and Adam feels something metallic press against his temple, cutting him off. His eyes snap over to Ruth, who stands above him, gun in hand with her finger on the trigger, ready to blow his brains out in a moment's notice. That's a mistake on Ruth's part, because he could easily just unarm her. She doesn't even bother looking in your direction or separating you two. She's not here to help you, she's here to kill him. The photo, where is it? You got some really screwed up priorities with your flesh and blood lying here. She pistol whips him and he grunts. The gun drills into his temple upon return. Where did you take her? This greedy, selfless bitch of a woman. Violent thoughts stir in his head. He imagines himself snatching the gun out of her hands, wrapping her hand around his fist as he bashes her head onto the nearest horizontal surface he can find before he root pistol whips him again. Harder this time. Adam hisses and glares up at her, frustrated that he can't play out of his twisted fantasies in reality. At least, not yet. Answer me, you piece of shit. Where did you take her? Where? My back pocket. Check inside my wallet. He's telling the truth to an extent. Her beloved picture is actually probably lying on the ground somewhere, but it's too dark for her to see, her eyes not just adjusted to the severe lack of lighting. They provides Adam with a fantastic advantage. Ruth takes his words at face value exactly as planned when she reaches for his back pocket in search of her precious photo. He brings his arm up and wrenches Ruth's wrist backwards, another gunshot going off as Ruth pulls the trigger, this bullet hitting the roof instead of its intended target for a second time in a row. She won't get a third chance. Ruth shrieks as Adam wrenches her hand back, positioning the muzzle of her gun underneath her jaw. Looks like I have the advantage again. He curls his finger over the trigger. Ruth thrashes this way and that, but Adam's stronger than her, too strong for her to have any hope of crawling her way out of this mess she made. When that doesn't work, she begins sobbing. What? Does she think he'll let her go if she cries hard enough? That she's someone worth pitying? The idea is so funny it's almost laughable. She seems to sense his lack of empathy because she becomes bitter the next instant, cycling through a rainbow of emotions, her shrieks rattling the kitchen cupboards. You don't get it. You don't get it. I loved her. I really loved her. And you took her from me. You and that bastard both. Adam pushes the muzzle of the gun upward, digging it deeper into her jaw, causing her to finally shut up. He's sick of this woman. I couldn't give less of a shit, Adam says before finally pulling the trigger. Adam blinks. The third bullet's gone. Nothing happens. He tries again. Click, click. Then realization hits. The gun's freaking empty. Did she seriously waste all of her bullets? God. Ruth brings her head back up and rams her skull against Adam's, forcing him to let go of his grip on both her and the gun. While he's recovering from the blow, Ruth descends on the kitchen knife before raising it high above her head, giving Adam a weird sense of deja vu when he did the same thing moments before, bringing it down right as the front door slams open. An arm extends from the entrance and bang. Ruth sways for a moment, staring down at Adam in a silent accusation before crumbling to the ground like a marionette with its strings cut. She lands face first into the glass shards, a gaping hole just an inch above her ear, leaking ichor. Adam already knows that she's dead. Shoot. Oh, shot. Not once, but twice. The arm in possession of the gun that killed Ruth disappears before Saffron fully steps into the trailer. His slacks, vest, and button-up cling to his body due to the rain. Even his hair, usually thick black for the sense of professionalism, is disheveled. He cocks his gun again as he looks at Adam. Adam sees the question sitting at the tip of his tongue. Are you alright? But Saffron knows better. Instead of gestures towards George Ruth's corpse in your unconscious form. What happened here? Adam ignores Saffron in favor of returning to your side, checking for a pulse. There. A heartbeat. It's faint, but there. Adam gathers you up into his arms at the confirmation of your survival in spite of his injuries that throb in complaint. He turns to Saffron, who quietly observes the whole interaction. There's a faint crease between his brows, his displeasure obvious and tangible. Adam knows of Saffron's prying nature, knows that he's bubbling over with questions, but refrains from asking them because getting a straightforward answer out of Adam is tricky in certain circumstances. But that doesn't mean he approves of what he's seeing. Adam, however, couldn't give two shits about what Saffron thinks. Saffron? Adam says, his voice sharp like a command. Saffron looks up at Adam, albeit reluctantly, and he continues. There's a photo lying somewhere on the floor. I want you to grab it alongside Ruth and bring them both to the truck. We're leaving. He says, brushes past his manager, who remains stationed inside the doorway. Adam's almost halfway down the steps, your body becoming drenched from the bulk of the storm. Saffron's head clamps down his shoulder. Adam doesn't even bother turning around. Let go. His voice is quiet, deadly. There's serpent in the grass, hissing at the hungry wolf. A monster bearing its fangs at the other beast who dare challenge it. Just tell me why you're bringing them with us, Saffron says. What do you want with them? Give me one good reason why and I'll drop the matter entirely. Adam looks down at you, your expression calm and serene in your unconscious state. You look sweet, gentle, innocent, but Adam is well aware you're nothing of the sort. You distracted him from his initial purpose, his ultimate goal, leading him to damn near cave into his sudden desires. He almost did, didn't he? Why did you kiss me? Adam shakes his head, disgusted. A stupid, illogical question, made on impulse with the heat of your body surging against his, one that cost him greatly because he no longer has Ruth, the singular person connected to his past. Yes, it's unfortunate. He no longer has her, but... Adam? Saffron urges, and Adam gazes down at your unconscious figure, resolute in his decision. He no longer has Ruth, but he still has you. Despite the fact that you're a liability, you're his only other option right now, and because of that, he needs you. He's not keen on keeping you around because he wants you. You're simply a necessity. Yes, Adam thinks with growing conviction. He needs you, that's all. Adam finally manages to shrug Saffron off. Remember what I told you when you first met? Adam asked, recalling the memory of pink-tinted water spilling over the lip of a bathroom tub, water sloshing against his torn sneakers as he stood there with mounting horror. Tears streamed down his sore face. Of course. There's a sense of underlying pity in Saffron's tone that Adam loathes, but he refrains from drawing attention to it. Instead, he slowly pivots towards Saffron, the tips of his purple hair whipping around him as a large gust of wind hits the trailer park with a sudden ferocity. The cross earring cuts into his neck, at his cheek. A small punishment from the previous owner, he's sure. I need them in order to complete my promise. Adam says at last, his eyes flashing red as he lets the agony from the old memory consume him. I promised to her. What exactly did he promise his mother? Okay, Saffron's office, current time. Saffron stares out at the near desolate landscape from his balcony doors, his arms folding behind his back as he relishes in the rare quiet of the sprawling hills. This place exists high up in the mountains, perfect place to go to avoid getting caught in camera surveillance. Out here, no one would bother investigating the blood currently screams the growing stench of the woman's rotting in the back of his reefer truck. Well, not that she's rotting per se, but she smells absolutely vile. At least to him. But that's probably due to his lack of interest in her. You, on the other hand, smell absolutely delectable, even with your festering shoulder wound at the beginning stages of an infection. He had to stop himself from lunging for you while you lay unconscious in the passenger seat of the truck with Adam, tending to your injuries in an effort to keep you alive. Saffron nearly gave in to the urge of pulling over and devouring you whole. This guy's a weird, he's just a freaking cannibal. He fantasized about tearing strips of your flesh off your bones. He thought about what sauces and seasonings to pair with. He salivated at the prospect of lopping off just a finger or toe as an appetizer. He came so close to giving in to the ever-present hunger, but refrained due to Adam's insistence that he needs you. Or at least, that's what Adam claims. But Saffron expects something more. He's never seen Adam get so possessive about a target before, going as far as to smack Saffron's hand away when he reached for you in order to keep the strain off of Adam's wound. It's like Adam wants you for himself for whatever reason. And Saffron feels disappointed, cheated, because they made a deal. He gets the bodies of the dead and damned after Adam eliminates them. That's the agreement. As a result, Adam doesn't need to worry about the details of getting rid of some pesky evidences or a body, and Saffron can divulge in his own sadistic pleasures without doing any of the dirty work. It's a mutually beneficial transaction. And now Adam's changing the rules of the game and making up mundane excuses as to why Saffron can't have you yet. It's frustrating. Saffron realizes he's gnawing at the skin of his thumb, a nasty habit he really needs to get rid of. Wipes his saliva off with a square piece of tissue paper. The urge to taste you is becoming unbearable. It's borderline torture. Saffron sighs and pulls himself into the plush desk chair in an effort to calm himself down. He's not mad at Adam, but frustrated with his decisions as of late. Because like it or not, they're affecting him too. Needs to reschedule everything after the injury Adam sustained during your shared encounter. And now he's unable to hunt the gardener boy because your aunt's going to take up the room in his freezer. Oh, thank goodness for the gardener boy. He's safe for now. He wanted something out of this whole debacle. You were an equally appealing prospect, so he felt satisfied. Now with neither you or the gardener boy, he's ravenous. A little speck of your blood is not enough. He needs more. Saffron's hand fans out against his desk, his fingers brushing against something. Oh? The picture. His eyes fall on her, and he feels the monster subside in an instant. Remember what I told you when we first met? Adam had said, and as Saffron did. And Adam is as sincere now as he was back then. So why is Saffron thinking such ludicrous thoughts? How shameful. Saffron places the picture into his desk drawer and chastens himself for letting himself get so worked up over a piece of meat, putting his own needs above Adam's for unjustifiable reasons. Adam does what needs doing. He doesn't complicate matters unless warranted. You should trust Adam. Perhaps he's imagining things. Yes, that's right, he just jumped to conclusions. Once Adam's done with you, he's sure the boy will follow through. It's not like you're down by mundane feelings like most people. It'll all work out. But what if it doesn't? A tiny thought argues his inner doubt. Will it be right? Maybe you should take care of them yourself just in case. No, stop it. Saffron swats the thoughts away, waving his hand through like a fly buzzing around his head. But he's gnawing on his thumb again. Saffron's pocket buzzes. Someone's calling him. Perhaps the venue management over their sudden cancellation? Looks at the caller ID. His heart skips a beat. Why is he calling? And why now of all times? Did he see something on the news about what took place at the trailer park? Is it about him? About Adam? Calm yourself, Saffron. You won't know until you answer. So Saffron clicks the green button and presses the phone to his ear, putting on his best "everything's great" performance. So nice of you to call. What do I owe the pleasure? Saffron exhales the caller's name. God? Huh? What? God? Huh? What? So what? What? God. God. Is Saffron like some fallen angel type of situation here? What? I thought maybe it was Adam's dad. I don't remember if his dad was dead or not. My God. That is a surprise. Well, that is the end of chapter 2 entirely. We're getting more and more surprises already. So our character has been kidnapped, and I'm guessing she's going to stay with Adam, and Adam's going to keep her locked up forever because he won't get over his feelings of her, even though he will try to convince himself, but he won't. The root base of this all is religious trauma, basically. So it seems like our character playing her aunt was in love with Adam's mother, and vice versa. They were in love with each other, but she had to get married to Adam's dad. I'm guessing he was a pastor or whatnot, and he found out about her feelings for her aunt and told her it was a sin and blah blah. He was supposed to threaten her somehow, beat her for it, just because he's evil like that. And then Adam came like scarred, that PTSD from like the beatings, and he would get also abused from his father, and his mother was there to protect him in a way. She was his protector, so he really does care for her. And I'm guessing she got killed by the father, and it was covered up. Guessing this all happened in a small town. With small towns, things like that always get covered up for some reason. Now he's on a mission to get rid of like the evil people on the earth, but in his own twisted sense. Like, he has serious mental health issues, obviously. But the God thing, I'm waiting for chapter 3 now because it's getting interesting. So that is the end of chapter 2 for you and him. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.